Welcome everyone to the next talk. It's 3 Django apps in a trench coat, writing an event management system with not a lot of time, by Matt and Luke, who wish to explain their background a little bit more.
Hi everyone, thanks for having us. I'm Matt. Thank you. I'm Matt. I'm a Linux systems admin and software developer, and I use they/them pronouns.
I am Luke. I'm a systems technician, an aspiring security architect interested in web development and security education.
We're delivering this presentation on the traditional lands of the Wurundjeri people. We want to pay our respects to their elders past and present. Sovereignty was never ceded, and we all need to do better to respect the land. So these slides are available on the GitHub repo that is listed at the top of the screen. There is also a live view of these slides that will progress as we go through them at the QR code and the blue link below if you would like to grab that. And those will be available afterwards with speaker notes as well. I'll give you a couple more seconds to grab that QR code. 3, 2, 1.
So we are Scout leaders. We facilitate young people to explore the world around us with an ethos of learning by doing that is youth-led and adult-supported. Sure, we do fun outdoor activities, but we also provide events like Scout Hack, which teach website development to young people as young as 10. You can see our lightning talk or Matt's presentation for details on that with the links in our slide notes. We also run immersive STEM-focused camps. We call this one in particular that we'll be talking about today, Star Trek Survival. Most scouting events will use a round-robin or a track-based program structure, pictured like this. Each team rotates through activities for a limited duration for a specified period of time. We don't do that at Star Trek Survival. Youth-led means youth members deciding how long they want to be throwing sponges at their leaders before exploring something else to do. This talk demonstrates how we have made youth decision capability a reality, powered by technology. At Star Trek Survival, we went agile with program delivery. We built the event around a dispatch system to send youth members to each of their activities via radio. Shown here, we have a game board, an analog representation of the game state reported by our software. In the background, we have a screen showing our digital dashboard showing that game state. Around the table, we have our 2 young people managing the sprites on the board, and off to the side in the background, of course, is our adult supporting. To make an agile system work, participants gave us their top 10 activity preferences. We threw this into our software to make sure that everyone did something that they wanted to do to support their badge projects. We doubled the program offerings from 18 activities in 2022 to 36 in 2024. The average Scout event has 8. We had 250 Scouts, aged between the age of 5 and 26, each given their own radio. This was a choice so poor, we have done it twice now. Each of these radios has a call button on it that will beep and sound that beep across that channel for everyone within range. Never again. They receive their marching orders to attend their next activity from Starfleet Command.
We're totally going to do that again.
To engage in activities at this event, all teams have to do to participate is check in to a designated activity, do the activity, check out of that activity, and then head to their next designated activity over the radio. This methodology provided flexibility of staff, scalability of our activity delivery, and most importantly, meant there was no queuing for fun. Food and sleep also occurred in designated times and areas. These activities did not require a radio. An event of this style has never been achieved before. To support such outrageously ambitious plans, we relied on Matt's custom app development work and capability. We introduced our first of our apps in our Trenchcoat. We promised a Trenchcoat. Here it is. And our first app is a Django app, of course, because they're all Django apps. And the first is a Star Trek survival website, which is hiding in the wrong order here. Uh-oh.
And our apps are going to crash, you can just tell.
It's sketchy, but it works. So there's our first app, Star Trek survival website. So this explains the event and showcases what activities are on offer. A nice website, very straightforward, just information space. The second of our apps is called Brownsea, and it's an event registration system for our membership. That's better. So it's used for participant registration and team management. It's implemented for speed, security of personal data, offers a quality user experience, and provides transparency for guardians to be able to see information of their youth members.
Critically, this was successfully implemented despite Scouts Victoria's complex hierarchical arrangement. Our apps were designed generically, extensively, and with modularity. This allowed us to capture event elements for the event to be managed. Crucially, it works beyond the needs of just our event, so other scouting events can make use of this tool as well.
And finally, our third app in our Trenchcoat, and personally my favourite. This one is Radio Activate. Outsourcing the operational requirements of an event, such as Star Trek Survival for Youth members, was done by gamifying the distribution of our participants across activity sites. We maintain preference consideration for individuals and their activity teams, and the name Radio Activate is a play on the words radio, go figure, active, as in actively running around and doing activities, and the totes hip spelling of script kiddies. Yo. Total hacker, bro.
To make Star Trek Survival a success, we packed our 3 Django apps into a Trenchcoat. We used a single standardized environment so that we could spin it up rapidly if everything should fall over, like it did 2 days into day 1 of our event. Fortunately, we aimed for 12-factor apps to enable rapid redeployment. We used OCI-compliant images to help standardize our environment, and we chose Docker Container Engine to run our containers. To learn more about Docker, see my Docker talk, which is linked in the slide notes. This made it really easy for us to spin up new infrastructure if, and as it turns out, when necessary. For our event registration system, we wanted a smooth user experience. For a Scout member to access our event portal, we only require their Scout membership number, their surname, and their date of birth. We don't store their date of birth, it's just used to authenticate against Scouts Victoria's membership API. So here we've got a video of the registration process. We can confirm that a user is a member of Scouts Victoria with the aforementioned information. Then we pre-fill information, then we list the events that are available. They can see which tickets they're eligible for. And then we pre-fill information from the Scouts Vic membership system, including contact information, which they can go and override if it is incorrect. They can also add dietary information for catering purposes and any other noteworthy information. Then they receive a link to and an email to a Xero invoice, which then they can go and pay. And as you saw, that registration process took 30 seconds.
The most important part for us is that we only gather the data that is needed. Health records have a dedicated confidential system that is used elsewhere by the organisation, so we only gather catering information to flag that early to help with preparation. We intentionally use separate health information so that we don't have to manage any of that data within our workflow here at all.
As part of this event management system, legal guardians can sign in to see their children's data. And Scout leaders can see the data of all of their registered youth members, data to which they should already have access to through Scouts Victoria systems. Event administration is handled by authorized personnel using Django's admin app, which is built into Django out of the box. This has the benefit of requiring very little setup on our part, and I think is one of Django's big benefits. We can see here that there are different activities that can be switched on and off, as well as receive bulk updates, all within an interface that we didn't really have to design.
Now let's have some fun. So Radio Activate has multiple modes of play. It can be a radio-wide game, and it can also be used to dispatch participants to activities at an event. At the start of a game, in its essence, each participant is sent to a base. Once they arrive, they radio to HQ, identify themselves and their current location. The HQ station then responds with a question to which the team must return an answer via radio. On receipt of an answer, HQ provides the team with a new destination. The game's end condition and whether it's competitive is up to the facilitator's discretion. Easy, right? So in order to be able to make this more useful, we need to be able to record this process and see that information as it renders and make decisions with it. Let's see how that works.
The Radio Activate proof of concept used a sheet of paper to track the game state of teams. This state was recorded by Luke, while we used the radio to tell teams which next base to attend. Our learning from this was paper doesn't scale. The radio conversation process is built into the form workflow of the software that we built. Operators progress from the top of the screen downwards. Again, this was initially delivered by the Django admin interface. We can see here we've got a list of the events that happen throughout a game. Each event is a log entry tracking the last known location of each team at a given time, the intelligence collected, featuring whether or not they got the answer to any given question correct, and the next base that they have been sent to. Now we create a little bit of form styling and break out of using Django's admin interface, and we add a state of play dashboard to help with some decision making. Then we style it to match Luke's style guide, for better or worse, and we add some buttons specific to the event. Some of our other apps needed some minor code updates to customize them for Star Trek Survival. We can see here that the app provides feedback if entered information doesn't match the app's view of the world. Here it's showing that a team's reported location doesn't match where they were last sent. Radio Activate is smart enough to indicate if something is wrong, but it allows the operator to override these suggestions, letting gameplay continue, because we know that the world is messy and trying to represent it using software doesn't always work.
It definitely gets in the way of fun.
Yeah.
Wide games are fun, but this same process, this same exchange that people have over the radio can be used to manage doing activities. Instead of Intel bases, we use an activity base. This means that HQ needs to be a little bit bigger than it was before, but with a youth-led, adult-supported process, we can go from 3 adults sitting here at various terrible angles, working the Radio Activate system at VicJam, to something like this, where we have our younger operators, an older scout helping a younger scout direct other remote scouts on where they're going next. This is how we made outsourcing event operations possible. So let's bring this back to our Trenchcoat. We have created our one Django app, a Django project to rule them all. This was a single multi-app Django project, including the 3 apps that we had, which includes Radio Activate, the Star Trek Survival website, and the stuff required to integrate with our registration system. The app installation is as easy as adding these to the Django settings.py, which if you have used Django, you will know well, but it's one of the core settings for Django. And then we just add the app's code to our project. Then we can connect our app's data models together. Here we're ensuring that a patrol or team within Radio Activate is directly related to a group of registrants in our registration system, which is SCATSVIC EMS or Brownsea, so that is all tightly integrated. Here we've got an overview of all of the Django models that we used in the collection of our 3 projects. There's a lot here, but I'm only going to cover some highlights. Team members sign up using their credentials in the SCATSVIC EMS or Brownsea registration app. They register for the event using that same app, and as part of registration, in addition to their dietary and other information, they list a collection of their preferred activities.
These activities are then connected to the patrol preferences model in the Star Trek Survival app. And then when activities start, a patrol or team checks in with our operators at Starfleet Command, and the system can consult that patrol's preferences in this other model over here to select a candidate for their next activity. Radio Activate provides walking time estimates between bases. We combine this with a site map, and operators can make tactical decisions such as, do we send a team of 5-year-old Joey Scouts on a 1-kilometer journey uphill 20 minutes before lunchtime? Probably not. The Joey Scout leaders would be very unhappy with this. For a team of older Scouts, yeah, we'd probably do that. They're capable, and they need to burn off as much energy as they can. Each base recommendation includes its estimated walking time. To do this, we used GeoDjango, which is packaged up with Django as a contrib package, to add geospatial integration, which helped with mapping the data. Radio Activate also shows a success message at the top of the page, including a timestamp, the team's number, their current base, and if they're in transit, also lists their destination base. This helps us keep track with what information we've just logged, because things move fast. Here we've got 2 dashboards that are shown on the monitor that you saw in our control center earlier with the big table. Each of these dashboards uses HTMX to give up-to-date information without us needing to refresh the page. This supports decision-making for dispatchers without them having to do this manual refresh. The base dashboard on the left shows which bases are available, what their capacity is, and which bases are full. And the team dashboard on the right lists teams by number and shows either their current location, if only one base is listed, or their previous and next base if they are in transit. It also displays the duration since headquarters last heard from that team, so that we can work out if we've lost anybody.
6 months is a long time.
6 months is a long time, yes. We should really go. What's our attrition rate again?
10%.
Right, cool. So HTMX, for those who don't know, was what we used to auto-refresh our dashboards. It is a small JavaScript library which makes use of attributes on your HTML elements to make AJAX queries and dynamically update content without you having to actually write any JavaScript. And if you haven't seen it yet, you should totally check out HTMX. This gives us a single programming language for back-end development, avoiding bespoke, customized areas where ordinarily JavaScript would really feel like the only way to solve a particular problem. So what this code here is doing is it's saying every 10 seconds for one of our panes in the dashboard, go and fetch the full page from the server, and literally just go and drop in that particular element into the existing page without refreshing the whole thing. It's not the most efficient, but it does the job, and it's really straightforward.
It's very effective.
Yeah.
So this tactical table setup that we saw earlier was very popular, as you can imagine. It had youth members captivated by imagination of all ages, racing to update the sprites on the board after reading the dashboards we've just explored in the background shown on the TVs. So pictured here is a very important person for our team. This is the young person who is in charge or in command of the whole Starfleet Command operation, and gave direction and insight and guidance to young people as to how to do the dispatching across the whole event. And he is only 17 years of age and graduated VCE this year. He did very well. Radio Activate was initially developed for VicJam 2022, a statewide jamboree for Scouts. The first front-end interface, as we saw before, was written on day 1 of the event after months of model testing.
I was very tired.
It worked very well. Our event was so successful as far as the operational outsourcing, so the executive functions of the event and directing people where to go, went so well that this our event operations manager that you can see here spent most of his time like this, when he wasn't playing with the tabletop pieces in between his breaks also. At the event's end, our youth members go home each having had unique experiences. They receive summary outcomes of activity completion for each team, distributed via our registration system, and ready for badge awarding the following week. So here we see each mission that particular team completed, along with the I can statements that activity generated that will contribute towards their badge project completion, and also a bit of a summary of what that particular activity was to help bridge the real world with the immersive experience. We do have a content warning here, please. There's a significant amount of cuteness in the following. Be prepared. These are Joey Scouts who are learning how to live long and prosper.
To varying degrees of success.
Much to our chagrin. This project would not have been as efficient without the contributions of many people. From development and testing to trial and error, and at some points just taking a gamble and having a go, we all did a little bit of learning by doing. While the code base carries a lot of the work, this would not be possible without the wonderful team at Scouts Victoria. There's one people in particular who carried their weight and then some. Can you please join me in thanking Matt Sen, everybody?
Thank you. So one of the learnings from this is that Django is very much the framework for perfectionists with deadlines. We squished all of our 3 apps into one very stylish Trenchcoat. So we really want to thank the contributors of Django for this excellent framework. Particularly the admin, just makes rapid development so easy. And it all turned out really, really well.
Yeah. And even I wrote some code.
Even Luke wrote some code. I was blown away. So that is our 3 apps in a Trenchcoat. Thank you so much. I think we've got a little bit of time for questions, but also feel free to contact us. And here is the link to the slides again if you would like it. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, guys.